Hello, my fellow Idahoans. I want to extend the warmest virtual welcome to each and every one of you for joining our 4th annual Philanthropy Day celebration. Like all of our nonprofit friends across the state, we're adapting to change, leaning in and focusing on the positive changes to this year's event. This year's Philanthropy Day celebration is even more important, poignant, and heartwarming as our nonprofits have risen to the challenge to remain focused on their missions, keeping our communities fed, safe, supported, and showing their adaptability, creativity, and most importantly, their resiliency. We were overwhelmed again this year with a record number of nominations, and our committee and judging teams had an incredibly difficult challenge in narrowing down our honorees. Truly, there are stories of heroes in every corner of Idaho, and throughout this month we'll be sharing as many of those hero stories as we can to help honor the incredible contributions that our citizens, nonprofits, and support organizations are making in our communities every day. This year, we are proud to have joined forces with our friends at Serve Idaho, combining their Brightest Star Awards with our Philanthropy Day celebrations. Idaho Philanthropy Day was revitalized in 2017 in partnership with the Idaho Women's Foundation, Idaho Community Foundation, and the Idaho Association of Fundraising Professionals. There are so many generous sponsors that are supporting our event this year, including our presenting sponsor, Wells Fargo, Gold sponsor Thrivent, and Silver sponsor Idaho Central Credit Union. Thanks to our category, party pack, and table sponsors for your support as well. Recognition for those are infused throughout the program today. It is now my pleasure to turn this year's award ceremony over to our esteemed MC, George Prentice. George has been honored for his decades-long career in broadcast and print journalism. He has won dozens of awards for his investigative reporting and took home top prizes in the fields of crime and courts, environmental, health, religion, and feature reporting. As the host of Morning Edition, he helms one of the highest-rated broadcasts in Idaho. On numerous occasions, he has taken the live broadcast on the road, reporting from Wall Street, the White House, and presidential inaugurations in D.C. George has also been honored for his work with Idaho foster children, winning the Governor's Brightest Star Grand Prize Award. He's also been a film critic for more than 3 decades and is a regular fixture at some of the world's best film festivals. Thank you, George, and all of you for being with us today. With that, I'll turn it over to you, George.
Hello, and welcome to the celebration. True, our connection this year is made possible by technology, but rest assured, we're expecting a very personal and warm get-together today, and I couldn't be happier to help guide you through the next hour. This should be something pretty special. My name is George Prentice. I'm the host of Morning Edition on NPR here in Idaho. I spend my days talking to and listening to smart, interesting people, and almost always at the top of that list are people in the nonprofit world. And I will share with you a secret, full disclosure. A good many of my colleagues don't know this, but the good people at the Idaho Nonprofit Center do know this about me, and that is I spent some of the best years of my professional life in the nonprofit world, particularly working with young men and women, children and infants tangled in the foster care system. It changed my life forever. It informs my work every day. And so being with you today is more than just a pleasure. It is an honor. So let me set the stage for you. We've got 7 award categories that we'll be celebrating today. We'll spend some time with the amazing Dan Prinsey, the director of the Wasmuth Human Rights Center, and we'll wrap things up with the Cecil Andrews Volunteer of the Year Award. And along the way, we'll check in with some of you to hear about how you're doing. So here's a reminder. Let's use the chat feature. For most of you, that'll be on the right-hand side of your screen. Give that a try. Introduce yourselves. Tell us where you're from. and how you're spending the next hour with us. And we encourage you also to take a photo during the event and share them on social media, and use the tag at Idaho Nonprofits. So at Idaho Nonprofits, all one word, at Idaho Nonprofits. Great. Okay, now a message from our very good friends and sponsor, Wells Fargo Bank.
Hello, I'm Molly Lenti-Dixon, a Vice President in Wells Fargo's Social Impact and Sustainability Group. On behalf of our leadership across Idaho, it is my honor to share in our appreciation for Idaho Philanthropy Day and for each of the celebrations across the state. We look forward to this event each year. It's an opportunity to get to work with the Idaho Nonprofit Center and now also with Serve Idaho, two organizations who are tireless supporters of nonprofits. It's also a great way for us to come together and get to celebrate and connect with each of you. We realize that this year has been especially challenging for nonprofits, and we want to say thank you for all the work that you and your teams have put in and day out in support of your local communities. So on behalf of Wells Fargo, once again, I just want to say thank you for all that you do and to share in our appreciation for Idaho Philanthropy Day.
Okay, let's get going. Our first category today is Outstanding Philanthropic Company or Foundation. And some of the words used by those who nominated today's honorees were dedicated, emboldened, and supportive. Here are the Outstanding Philanthropic Companies or Foundations.
We just want people to know that we're there for the community. We try to help out when we can. We try to raise money for different things in the community, but our biggest one, of course, is the backpack for kids. Brandon Slocum, he does a fantastic job getting his team members, guests involved with donating for the backpack for kids. We've set up last 2 years we've done barbecues to help raise money and doing raffles. He'll get vendors involved with donating gifts like inflatable stuff or tents and other items that they get that he helps raffle off so we can raise money to help get those kids the stuff they need for the following school year.
Despite this year's challenges, Brandon and the CDA Cenex raised $5,250 for the Salvation Army Kroc Center. All funds will benefit the Kroc Center's outreach efforts to Bora Elementary, one of the two schools in the CDA school district where 100% of students qualify for free or reduced lunches based on minimal household income. The CDA Cenex 9-year total now exceeds $24,000. This effort has always been about helping local kids and schools and not about Cenex recognition.
A core group of employees here who know how passionate I am about it, and they are just as passionate, and I mean, they're relentless. Plus we throw a barbecue every summer now, and everybody is here on the clock. Nobody stays home. They all come out to pitch in, and we have a lot of fun with it. They saw how the community would benefit from it, not to mention it makes it easier to get donations.
Home Partnership Foundation is the stabilizing lifeline for many Idahoans on the brink of economic despair. Their mission states, "We strengthen communities across Idaho by helping people build a strong foundation for their lives through stable, safe, and affordable housing."
Hi, I'm Deanna Ward. I'm the Director of Development for the Home Partnership Foundation. We're a nonprofit based at Idaho Housing and Finance Association, and I've been doing this work a little over 11 years. The Home Partnership Foundation was created to help address the gaps and pressing needs in communities around the state of Idaho related to housing. So we've been fortunate to be able to contribute about over $10 million to the nonprofit housing sector.
On behalf of the Wells Fargo family, congratulations to Deanna and the Home Partnership Foundation team on being recognized as one of the outstanding philanthropic foundations in Idaho. Your expertise, innovation, and thoughtful leadership give you the ability to pull together key community stakeholders to find solutions to Idaho's most pressing housing needs. You are an advocate for the underserved, and we are proud to have the opportunity to support you.
The Home Partnership Foundation has raised nearly $4.4 million for Idahoans struggling to secure permanent housing. They have helped 90 nonprofits in the 9 years they have been doing this campaign. The Home Partnership Foundation helps the entire state. They equip those organizations fighting for accessible and affordable housing to engage with their donors at a deeper level during the highest giving days of the year. They don't just work with organizations to show their impact and partnership with donors, they lead by example and do the same.
It's been very rewarding to be able to work with such a great network of nonprofits around the state, such caring community partners, such generous donors that all make the philanthropic sector here in Idaho just really thrive.
I'm Melanie Lambert with the Kootenai Health Foundation. Super One Foods is one of our supporters throughout the years since the foundation has been established, so over 32 years. They've supported Kootenai Health Foundation, and they support many organizations in our community as a local grocery store, family-owned. A lot of staff that work at Super One Foods use our hospital, and we shop at Super One Foods, and it feels like a family we have with them, and they support all of our growth efforts and programs that we have here at the hospital for our community.
Walk in your local Super One food store and odds are you're met by a friendly face, helping hands, and a sense of community. Particularly during these uncertain times, our supermarket and grocery workers have been on the front lines, making sure their communities have the goods they need. Each store and the company as a whole continues to operate by Ron McIntyre's commitment to the community, supporting various youth programs, schools, parks and recs programs, scouts, 4-H, county fairs, and hospital boards in each area. Super One Foods emulates values of trust, loyalty, integrity, dependability, and safety.
Super One Foods supports many organizations from the Boy Scouts to the county fair to the hospital to their church, various organizations, and they have a huge impact. Everybody knows them. Everybody is thankful and grateful that we have them in our community. They're not just in Coeur d'Alene, but they're in Hayden, Post Falls, Athol, Rathdrum. They're all over North Idaho region, and they support the whole region too. They care about their local community and the economy, and they're willing to step in and help with the schools, different programs, to help to any capacity to improve this community and help the people that need help in this community.
Wow. Well, joining us live right now, let's bring in Deanna Ward, Director of Development with the Home Partnership Foundation. Deanna, congratulations.
Thank you, George. It's great to be with you today.
Providing safe, stable, and affordable housing. My goodness. Can I assume that the need is greater than ever?
Absolutely. The need was great before the COVID pandemic, and I think we just continue to see those needs grow. But we've got a really great philanthropic sector like Family Promise of North Idaho, who actually nominated us for this award. So we appreciate them and all the nonprofits throughout the state really trying to help our neighbors in need right now.
Tell me about your amazing colleagues.
Well, we're, like I said, we're just one part of the nonprofit sector that's helping with the housing needs. We have a campaign called the Avenues for Hope Housing Challenge that's raised over $4.4 million. We have about 70 or 80 nonprofits that will be participating here this December. But most of all, today I just wanted to say thank you to the Nonprofit Center and all the sponsors to highlight the kindness and compassion that's happening in the philanthropic sector. I also want to give a shout out to my colleagues at Idaho Housing and Finance Association, where we're based. They do great work to support affordable housing needs throughout the state. Many of them are on virtually with us today, so I don't do this alone. So thank you very much for the recognition, and congratulations to all the other honorees as well.
Deanna, thanks so much, and again, congratulations. Okay, our next category, outstanding nonprofit. Some of the words used by those who nominated honorees this year were driven, inclusive, and expertise. Here are the outstanding nonprofits of Northern Idaho.
We as Disabilities, we're an organization run by people with disabilities that has been able to be philanthropic in our own right. We've made donations to other causes, other organizations, and so on. And so that's pretty cool. It's kind of a reversal of what people expect, and I love that.
No part of the Idaho Panhandle is untouched by the work of the Disability Action Center, DAC. With offices in Moscow, Lewiston, Post Falls, and now Spokane, DAC serves the needs of persons with disabilities, PWD, to live fulfilling, independent lives. Equal to this mission, DAC strives to educate local leaders and the general public about the rights and requirements of the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA. As such, DAC is a tireless advocate for the rights and needs of these most vulnerable citizens.
When I think about disability, I just think of an aspect of a community and a challenge for us to connect better as human beings in all the things it takes, whether it's creating things that are accessible, whether it's having closed captioning, interpreting, large print, et cetera, et cetera. It's just a matter of connecting as humans, and the better we connect, the stronger we are. Disability just fits in as a piece of that. This award goes to everybody because, especially during this 2020, it's been overstated, I'm sure, or can it be overstated? But it's a challenging time, and there's people hurting, people in need, and that organizations and certainly our staff have come together and worked so hard and continue to do so. That's the impressive part. That's deserving an award, and we're just an example. There's many more out there doing the same things. So good for all of us.
It is an organization in our third year, and we are focused on serving restaurant and hospitality workers in the greater Coeur d'Alene area. And so we do that through connecting them to resources, financial support for urgent needs, and then also building positive relationships. So the financial impact, I think, for individuals is huge, but we're also very relationship-based. We have a working board that puts in hours and hours.
Our CDAID board, volunteers, supporters, referrers, and business partners all work together to try to meet the needs of service workers who may need some temporary help to make it through a rough time. When COVID struck our community, many hospitality workers lost their jobs overnight. They went from being self-reliant to experiencing the complete loss of income, often for the first time in their lives. Most did not have any savings and were facing hunger and possible evictions as rents came due. CDAID recognized that we were going to be facing an overwhelming number of requests for help, so we began recruiting volunteers to respond to the requests as well as completely revamping our computer system that dealt with the referrals.
To do the work that we do, we have an amazing team of volunteers that meet with hospitality folks that are in need, listen to their stories and refer to the organization to advocate for ways in which we can assist them. I would also say the other thing that makes CDAID outstanding is just that it's filling a crucial need that no one else is filling.
When we had our need there in Moscow, to do a community distribution in Moscow that was going to be mass scale, hundreds of people coming. The way that they stepped up and did it was just outstanding. The Moscow Latah United Way, they go the extra mile. They're a small group, but they inspire, motivate, just in a quick call. Some of these distributions we don't know until just days before, and they're able to mobilize an army. The other thing is they really look deeply into how they give and how they can have the most impact. And so it's really that local touch.
The Moscow Latah County United Way, it's a rather small group, but they just do such tremendous work and in a big way. They simply are connected to all parts of the community. They have a great board and great people that then spread that knowledge and all their talents all throughout their community in all the areas. They have organized and ran that whole distribution. They've had more than enough volunteers. They showed up ahead of time. We're always ready, happy faces, great attitudes, which definitely reflect on that organization and how important they feel the community is so that they're taken care of in that time of need.
Without our volunteers, without our board, without our community members donating, we wouldn't exist. So I would just say thank you. And we're super honored to receive the award, very humbled.
Wow. Okay, let's go live now to Moscow and say hi to Mark Lieber, Executive Director with Disability Action Center. Mark, congratulations.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it all a whole bunch.
Mark, correct me if I'm wrong, you're also the founder, and your organization started in the early 90s with a very modest budget, and now you've got offices, what, in Lewiston, Moscow, Post Falls, yes?
Yes, and Spokane as well, a youth and young adult project over there. So it's been quite a ride, and most of all, I mean, it's impressive what we're able to do in those communities, and I owe it to the staff and organizations that we partner with, including the one that nominated us, Interlink, and down in the valley, Lewiston, Clarkston Valley, and the work they do. They could have easily been nominated, and so there's just a lot of good folks doing good work out there.
Mark, I'm assuming that because you have all these offices, that the need is greater than ever.
Well, you're not wrong, and a lot of it, we just scratched the surface. It all ties in, the people that are providing housing services, the access to food, access to clothing, accessibility in communities. There's some really cool stuff happening, but there's just a tip of an iceberg that I'm afraid just probably isn't being quite as addressed as it should be at some levels. But we do what we can, and we're excited with some of the partnerships that we've been developing. We're meeting as much as we can, and those collaborations certainly help.
Mark Lieber is Executive Director with Disability Action Center, joining us live in Moscow. Mark, again, congratulations and thank you. Okay, our next category, outstanding media or marketing companies. At a time when so much emphasis is placed on the integrity and the mission of media and marketing, these are the best of the best. And here are the outstanding media or marketing companies.
There is quite simply not one single nonprofit organization in this region which has not interacted with the Lewiston Tribune in some capacity during its 127 years of existence.
We are so appreciative here at the Lewiston Tribune to be receiving this Zoom phone call. My name is Nathan Alford, editor and publisher here at the Lewiston Tribune and also the Moscow Pullman Daily News. Perhaps part of our DNA is really what defines our interest and passion for helping out our towns, helping out the people in our towns. And it starts with, I think best stated, our history. So you would have to look back literally 127 years now to the formation of the Lewiston Tribune. And it started in 1892 with a pair of brothers from Texas who, for better or worse, were Alfords, and I happen to be an Alford as well. So now 4 generations of Alfords. And if this 4th generation understands anything about community and about passion and about giving back, it's because of that prior generation, the 3rd generation, my father.
The Tribune Company makes all of these resources available to nonprofit organizations needing media services. Whether they are donating space, matching purchases of advertising, finding advertising sponsors for nonprofit ads, or simply quoting the best possible rates, the Tribune Company bends over backwards to help local and regional nonprofit organizations achieve their goals and mission.
If you were to walk inside the so-called boardroom or the war room here at the Lewiston Trib in downtown Lewiston, you'd see 3 things written on the wall. You'd see respect the past, live in the present, and create the future.
They are approached for help and financial support by almost every nonprofit organization and cause in the area, rarely turn anyone away, and are known for their creative and generous support of the nonprofit sector. Fixed Focus Media Volunteer manages a regional kindness campaign focused on inclusion and respect for all citizens. This began as a grassroots effort and now is a sought-after resource for cities in the region of North Idaho that have been plagued with racist hate literature. Through the Love Lives Here campaign, businesses declare their commitment to non-discriminatory practices. In exchange, businesses have a sticker represented on their doors claiming a welcoming environment for everyone in the community. The funds raised from this program go to diversity, equity, and inclusion education for the business sector. Fixed Focus Media volunteers countless hours to the program's social media outlets and marketing campaigns. It also volunteers several hours or months to assist with other marketing needs for the umbrella organization HREI.
Congratulations. We want to say a big thank you to another of our sponsors, and that is Thrivent. They say it best when they measure success by the fulfillment of the people that they serve and the communities they foster. And I would be remiss if I did not note that Thrivent has been named one of the world's most ethical companies by the Ethisphere Institute.
Hi, I'm Jessica Kofod, Regional Development Director at Thrivent Financial in Southern Idaho. I hire people to serve their community in Idaho as financial advisors and teach them our philosophy of values-focused planning that starts with getting to know you and identifying your closely held values. Then we work to create goals and a financial plan to help you achieve financial clarity and prepare for the certainty of uncertainty. As a sponsor, Thrivent is so honored to introduce our keynote speaker. Dr. Dan Prenzing is the Executive Director of the Wassmuth Center for Human Rights. He is the mastermind behind the Idaho Anne Frank Human Rights Memorial. The center's mission is to promote respect for human dignity and diversity through education and to foster individual responsibility to work for peace and justice. As a career educator, his work has taken him from the classroom to state government to countries around the globe as a teacher, coordinator, and trainer in human rights education. Dr. Prenzing holds a BA in History Secondary Education and a Master's in Curriculum and Instruction, a Master's in History and Government, and a PhD in Educational Leadership. Welcome, Dr. Prenzing.
Give, and you shall receive. Much more than you would have ever thought possible. Give again and again. Don't lose courage. Keep it up and go on giving. No one has ever become poor from giving. From the secret attic of their Amsterdam warehouse, Anne Frank penned the essay, Give, on March 26, 1944, just months before the 8 in hiding were arrested and deported to the concentration camps. The time of their arrest, they had been in hiding for 25 months. It's a poignant thought. No one has ever become poor from giving. My name is Dan Prenzing, Executive Director of the Wassmuth Center for Human Rights. Though we're physically distant, I'm delighted to be with you today to recognize the impact and commitment of those who do give. The philanthropic work of nonprofit organizations, individuals, foundations, media outlets, and businesses, each investing time, talent, and treasure, are the foundation in a community. We are all the better for what you do. Congratulations for today's well-deserved recognition. Thank you also to Wells Fargo for the continued support. Like the Idaho Nonprofit Center, the Wassmuth Center is so grateful for the corporate sponsorship that enables us to fulfill our critical missions in the state. The statue of Anne Frank behind me was in part funded through the generosity of Idaho students, contributing pennies, nickels, and dimes for an idea. They were inspired by possibility, by a vision that shared Anne's hope for humanity, by a vision that recognized that the state of Idaho was so much more than the stain that an Aryan compound in northern Idaho had blotted on our landscape. The Wassmuth Center is the builder and home of the Idaho Anne Frank Human Rights Memorial. Located in the heart of Boise, I often tease the mayor that we are the heart of the city. It is the only Anne Frank memorial in the United States, one of the few places in the world in which the full text of the Universal Declaration for Human Rights is on public display, and it is recognized as an international site of conscience. In his book, Etched in Stone, Enduring Words from Our Nation's Monuments, Ryan Coonerty wrote, Anne Frank could scarcely have conceived of Boise, Idaho. Therefore, it seems improbable that the author of a diary that has become among the world's most widely read books has become a symbolic feature of this community so many years after her death. But she has. It was exactly 25 years ago when the national exhibit, Anne Frank in the World, was brought to Idaho. Almost 50,000 people attended the exhibit in 1 month's time, and the seeds were planted for building a memorial to human rights in the state's capital city. Dedicated to the public in 2002, the memorial is an educational park designed to actively engage visitors to think, to talk with one another, and to respond to the human rights issues we face in our community, our country, and our world. While the city recognizes the memorial as a public park, and the state recognizes it as an open-air museum, neither the city nor the state built the memorial. What exists today was funded through the time, talent, and treasure of countless donors who raised almost $3 million to build a physical space of our shared values. What are those values? There are over 80 quotes etched into the stone of the memorial. Let's draw upon some of them to help answer the question. Perhaps you'll recognize this first one in another iteration, but in the memorial, Confucius reminds us, what you do not want done to yourself, do not do to others. That's how we come together as a community, caring enough to treat another just like we would hope to be treated. Do unto others. Who are the others? Jimmy Carter stated, we become not a melting pot, but a beautiful mosaic. Different people, different beliefs, different yearnings, different hopes, different dreams. Each a piece in the collective mosaic that is bound together as a community. Yet, within the community, we do recognize the differences. But as Governor Cecil Andrus acknowledged, our dreams of equality and respect will never come true if we permit the seeds of division to be sown. Let us always reject the forces of hatred and bigotry. For it is when the beauty of the mosaic is chipped at, when the seeds of division are sown, and according to Edmund Burke, all that is necessary for the triumph of evil is that good men do nothing. Albert Einstein echoed the same sentiment. The world is a dangerous place to live in, not because of the people who are evil, but because of the people who don't do anything about it. It is a call to action, calling us to stand up to the forces of hate, to speak out against bigotry. Margaret Mead encouraged, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. It is in our coming together that Gordon B. Hinckley stated, we simply must work unitedly to remove from our hearts and to drive from our society all elements of hatred, bigotry, racism, and divisive actions and words that limit a person's ability to progress, learn, and be fully accepted. While we recognize there is a strength that comes in numbers, Mahatma Gandhi was much more direct. Be the change you want to see in the world. It is a charge. It's a charge that begins with me. For as Malala Yousafzai acknowledged, when the whole world is silent, even one voice becomes powerful. We read that a lot in the memorial. The power of the individual to make a difference. Both the triumphs and the tragedies of the human story are on display. But in every quote and every idea, we see the profound power of a single voice or a bold action to overcome great odds and alter the course of history. And in that, Robert F. Kennedy ascribed, each time a person stands up for an ideal or acts to improve the lot of others, they send forth a tiny ripple of hope. Hope. Anne Frank recognized the power of hope. As she wrote, "Where there is hope, there is life." So what are those shared values? That born out of our differences, we recognize our shared humanity. And in that, we empower one another with kindness, compassion, and hope, doing unto one another as we hope is done to us. Reverend Dr. Nancy S. Taylor, a visionary co-founder of the memorial, shared, "May the Idaho Anne Frank Human Rights Memorial stand as a tribute to Anne Frank's memory, as a warning to any who would dare trespass upon the freedoms of others, and as an inspiration to all whose lives are devoted to love, respect, understanding, peace, and goodwill among the totality and diversity of the human family." It is that vision that also guides the work of the Wasma Center for Human Rights, now recognized as the educational arm of the memorial. Ours is a mission to promote respect for human dignity and diversity through education. To fulfill that mission, we design and deliver programming and resources on-site in the memorial, off-site in classrooms and communities throughout Idaho, and online reaching national and international audiences. As one Idaho educator commented, the center's education programs begin the process of personalizing the world for students. The other suddenly has a name, a face, hopes, dreams, concerns, and challenges that are perhaps not so different than our own. Once that happens, students move beyond tolerance to community. Whether in the physical bricks and mortar of the Idaho Anne Frank Human Rights Memorial or the education programming of the Wasma Center for Human Rights, fostering value and respect for human dignity and diversity through education is what we do. The mark that the Wasma Center for Human Rights is making throughout the state is motivated by the conviction that every member of the human family is worthy of fundamental human rights. Respect for human dignity and diversity is more than a value proposition. It is the mark we make that presents our community and state as a welcoming place to live. It is the mark of how and where to conduct business. It is the mark we secure for the next generation. Yes, even Anne Frank admitted, it's difficult in times like these. Ideals, dreams, and cherished hopes rise within us only to be crushed by grim reality. It's a wonder I haven't abandoned all my ideals. They seem so absurd and impractical. But even in hiding from the cruelty that walked the streets below, Anne penned, "Yet I cling to them because I still believe, in spite of everything, that people are truly good at heart." So thank you. Thank you for acting to improve the lot of others. Thank you for sending forth a tiny ripple of hope. Thank you for investing in the life of the community.
To be sure, the memorial is amazing. And indeed, Dan Prinzing is pretty remarkable too. And Dan, in 2020, we see that call to action has never been louder or more clear. Thank you for those words. Up next, our category is Outstanding Adult Philanthropist, and some of the words used by those who nominated this year's honorees were compassionate, transformational, ambitious, proactive, and caring. Here are the Outstanding Adult Philanthropists.
John knows the landscape of healthcare in Idaho. And he's extremely current on some of the challenges that we face here in Idaho. One of which is Idaho as a state ranks 50th out of 50th in physicians per capita. And John identifies that as a big problem for our state, particularly given our rising population, and really wanted to make a difference in supporting medical student scholarships here at the University of Idaho, and giving our medical students a greater shot at coming back to Idaho after all of their training to serve Idaho, and particularly to serve in rural Idaho. John Huckabay has completely transformed this medical school here at the University of Idaho, without question. He has set this medical school on a brand new trajectory that otherwise would not have been realized without his philanthropy.
John created and fully endowed the Major Ben Markham Continuing Education Scholarship to honor the former Kroc Center director for a 40-year career in the Salvation Army and fund his vision of removing the financial roadblock to higher education. In addition to his support of the Salvation Army, John has funded the education of many medical students throughout Idaho and beyond. A practicing physician himself, serving at the University of Idaho Medical School and at a practice in South Africa, he has seen the need for funding education for promising physicians. Idaho and the world at large needs medical professionals more than ever. John is a world-wise philanthropist with an exceptionally big heart.
A deep, deep and profound thank you for your philanthropy and your impact on this program and on the state.
Imagine you are a small, local nonprofit organization, financially challenged but continuing to do good, valuable work for your community. And imagine if a local business person offered to donate $1,000 per month, month after month, year after year. For some small nonprofits, this is a lifeline, literally the difference between continuing to operate and closing your doors. This describes Dave Troy, owner of Troy Insurance in Lewiston. For over 5 years, Mr. Troy has made these routine, reliable, generous contributions to my small organization, Interlink Volunteers.
He is a really humble man, and I think that is reflected in how his giving has taken place over the years. He's very patient, he's very kind, he's a wonderful dad for both my daughters and his own daughters. I have a lot of pride as a wife and a life partner, but I have such great pride in his decisions as a donor. From my own, professional perspective. And I think that's something that makes him very unique, is his desire to give for giving's sake, not just to be recognized. So I think that makes this honor even that more special, is that he really deserves this, because he does a lot of things very modestly.
All nonprofit organizations deserve and need a supporter like Dave Troy.
Ryan is just a really solid man, a man who is always about value and the good of the other, and being proactive. So before anything mushrooms out, or where a molehill might exist, where he is involved and he's like, let's take care of issues before they become something larger. He likes to joke, and sarcasm is rich, and he is somebody who really is concerned about making you feel comfortable. He really wants to see you succeed. So he makes me, I'm an extrovert, he makes me look like an introvert to his amount of extroversion. Continually, it's that community that we're in that continually struggles, and he's made it an opportunity for people to have a great family life, something that they knew growing up, when I was growing up, and just making it that much better. And his care and concern for them, he's a great honoree for this award, and you guys picked a very good man for this, and he's made many people's lives better. Very proud of him.
Impressive. Let's go live to Coeur d'Alene now and say hi to one of the honorees in this category, John Huckabay, and also the good folks from Cenex Zip Trip are on board, and they are one of the honorees as Outstanding Philanthropic Company. And hello to all of you. Are you there?
We're here.
John, so in supporting the next generation of caregivers, tell me about your motivation, obviously, and supporting all these medical students at the U of Y.
My name is Stacy Barney, and I'm the Assistant Center Director here at the Kroc. John is not with us today, but his influence and involvement and support of the Salvation Army Kroc Center has been revolutionary. Donation of $25,000 of specialized equipment a few years ago that we continue to use to provide services. Our mission is to serve the underserved. So those in our community who are in need of special equipment because of physical limitations or disabilities, it's been life-changing. And not only that, we love a good storyteller. John is the greatest, and we consider ourselves very, very fortunate to call him friend.
And the good folks at Cenex, among the descriptions of your mission are determined, supportive, and dedicated. Tell me why you do what you do.
Hey, I just wanted to say we love Cenex, we love Brandon and his hard work. If his check every year is like in our top 15 donors. So we're really grateful to Brandon and Cenex Zip Trip. Thanks for the opportunity to nominate them and to say a few words today from the Salvation Army.
Excellent. Thank you to all our friends in Coeur d'Alene. Okay, our next category, outstanding adult. Let's see, where are we? Adult volunteer, yes. And some of the words used by those who nominated today's honorees are caring, conscientious, dedicated, and generous. So let's take a look at the outstanding adult volunteers.
Tom and Joan Bender are the people that run the Potlatch Food Pantry. So they are a partner agency of the Idaho Food Banks that delivers free and donated food in the Potlatch community.
Tom and Joan Bender retired from their careers but didn't let that stop them from demonstrating exceptional leadership and volunteerism. Upon retirement, they moved to the rural community of Potlatch, Idaho, that they had loved for weekend getaways and quickly began seeking greater impact. They volunteered to work at the local food pantry, were on the city council, and volunteered at a nearby assisted living center.
They are a tag team and they are together. And when you're calling one, it depends on the question. And Tom might say, hey, you need to talk to Joan. Or Joan might say, hey, Tom will be done. Tom's got this one. And so they are such a great team together and a great inspiration just for that whole community. They're an inspiration to us, the staff, everybody here at the North Central branch, the Idaho Food Bank. They care so much and they're willing to step up in any time of need.
The humility, hard work, dedication, perseverance, and get-it-done attitude makes Tom and Joan Bender very deserving of being recognized with the Outstanding Adult Brightest Star Award. No challenge has been too big and no risk has been too daunting for them to serve those in need.
If you play Texas Hold'em, you're going to know this term. They have a great willingness to go all in. It is without a doubt, when they undertake something and when they get involved, they are all in.
All of my experience with my volunteering has led me to essentially my dream job, where I am the Director of Development now at North Idaho CASA, still doing the fundraising, still doing the community outreach, and it's actually been absolutely amazing. I wanted to thank Amy Evans. She is the Director of Development at Idaho Youth Branch. And when I first met Amy, I was just going to help with marketing. And she encouraged me to be a co-chair that very first year, 9 years ago. And literally that launched my philanthropic work in Coeur d'Alene. I worked with her on a couple of political campaigns, and throughout the 9 years of Wine, Women, and Shoes. And through that connection, I met a whole network of donors and people that led me to my job that I have today. So I am forever grateful, not only for her encouragement, but her friendship. The most fulfilling aspect of my work is the sense of community, whether they give to Boys and Girls Club or Idaho Youth Ranch or CASA. It's a very giving community, and the networking that is done amongst the nonprofits is very encouraging. We're not competing at all. We are all working towards the greater good to provide for the children of our community.
Mary goes all in for the work that she's doing. She has a passion for the children in our family. We're a homeless shelter for children and their families, and she comes because she wants to make sure that families are taken care of.
Every Wednesday, rain or shine, sleet or snow, since 2014, Mary Robinette will cheerfully come through the doors of Family Promise of North Idaho. She will walk in with a pep in her step and a smile on her face.
When she comes to Family Promise and when she's outside of Family Promise, and she's always thinking of, what can I do to help the families in this program? How can I help the program be its best? She's there to provide all the support around them in everything that we offer. She's been on our board, but before that, then she was working in our office, and she still does. And so she's been coming year after year on Wednesdays from 11 to 2. And what she does is she answers the phone, and she is that bright light to families who are seeking help, who were scared, who didn't know who to call and didn't want to call us, didn't want to be in this situation. And she's a calming voice that knows her stuff.
Mary is a gentle soul, unassuming. You might not recognize how much she brings to the table just because she's also a very humble person. In her life at St. Luke's, I would describe her as a person of deep prayer and deep care.
I know Mary through Family Promise of North Idaho, which is a nonprofit that works with homeless children and their families. Mary was involved in one way or another with all fundraising events. So the impact she made was to create our events to be memorable. She was very good at that.
So impressive. Okay, let's move along. Our next category, Outstanding Young Philanthropists. Some pretty amazing individuals. Some of the words used by those who nominated today's honorees are thoughtful, industrious, and selfless. So let's take a look at the Outstanding Youth Philanthropists.
She's kind, compassionate, diligent, creative. She also has she's courageous in her own quiet way. And her mom describes her as a natural diplomat who always tries to find outside the box solutions to resolve conflicts. Never takes sides. She's just kind of there as a problem solver. She's a dedicated person who can be counted on to do the hard work behind the scenes. As a youngster, she takes her time and she gets it done. Oh my goodness, watching her grow up.
Juliana deserves to be recognized for the initiative and leadership she exhibits in our organization and her dedication to the ideals of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights for All. This young person serves as an excellent example for her peers and inspiration for our adult volunteers and co-workers.
She's always been a person who wants to help make the world a better place, and that's always been one of her driving things in life.
Philanthropy has been in my life for a long time now. It all started when I was 7 and I began to donate my birthday money to the hospital as a way to give back to the community. It has grown into something huge with my own program that anyone can donate to. Some advice I would give to people is to always persevere and try and do as much as you can. Even a little can make a big difference. It doesn't have to be much, it is the thought that counts.
He's always willing to give to others and to put others first instead of himself is one of the things that I find just so amazing. And he's been doing it not only since middle school, but even in elementary school. And I think he's a great leader. He makes my job easier as a counselor by being the role model that he is. People look up to him. He's the young man that whenever I have a new student or someone struggling, like, I'm going to reach out to Jack.
For Jack, honestly, I think it's his, seems kind of weird, but his kind heart. He's always willing to give. Jack's birthday club that he did create, that was something that we didn't say, oh, you need to take your money and do something with it other than buy toys. That was something that at 7 years old that he made that decision.
That is why it was not a surprise that instead of presents for himself for his birthday, Jack asked his friends for a gift to pass along to those in need at the hospital. In his first year, he was able to give $100 to the Kootenai Health Foundation. Since then, Jack has fundraised over $1,000 to support various causes for the foundation. Every donation makes a difference, no matter how big or small. It's about giving to the people that need it most. It's an act of love for the people I love. Jack Pierce.
I don't miss any toy or anything that I probably would have got with that money. Doesn't even faze me. And I love giving back to the community and to the hospital.
My goodness. Let's go live up to the Panhandle and to the Pierce household. Let's say hi to Jack Pierce and his dad. Jack, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Jack, how old are you?
I'm 13.
Okay. Well, talk to us in about 5 years. I don't know how old you have to be president, but we need to run to be president as soon as possible. Jack, okay, so you started this on your 7th birthday. You said no gifts, and I just want this to go to charity.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, giving and generosity has always been in our family. Whether it is giving back to the homeless or just donating to random causes that we think is the best.
My goodness. Where does this come from, Jack? It's not something that a young man or woman your age just naturally does by default.
Yeah, really, my parents really contributed and led me to become the person I am and really helped me through this.
Jack, what do you like to do when you're not raising funds for wonderful charitable organizations?
Sports, really. I play hockey, baseball, and yeah.
What's the big dream for you someday?
I really don't know what's ahead of me, but whatever comes, I'm ready for it.
We're ready to toss you the keys right now, my friend. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow, wonderful. His name is Jack Pierce. I think we're all going to remember that. Okay. Up next, here we are at the big moment, and that is the presentation of the Volunteer of the Year Award. I am thrilled to present someone who is pretty special herself. She is the president of the Andrus Center for Public Policy. Here is Tracy Andrus.
Good morning. I want to thank the wonderful people of Serve Idaho for inviting me to join you this morning, even if it has to be in this virtual realm we find ourselves operating in. COVID-19 has created such incredible challenges for all of us this year, but especially for those who were already struggling. That's why this year, even more so than in years past, those of you who have been willing to reach out to your fellow Idahoans, showing them kindness and compassion, and improving the condition of their lives, deserve to be recognized and applauded. You're all shining examples that human kindness does exist all across Idaho and its communities, and it deserves to be celebrated. This year's winner of the Cecil D. Andrus Volunteer of the Year Award for North Idaho has volunteered with Family Promise of North Idaho since 2014. According to her nominator, every Wednesday, rain or shine, sleet or snow, she will cheerfully come through the doors with a pep in her step and a smile on her face. If there's a chill in the air, she may even wear her sweater with a pattern of angel wings on her back. Her willingness to help out where needed knows no bounds. Whether answering phones, handwriting thank you notes, keeping track of in-kind donations, compiling annual lists of donors, or tracking how many people the organization touches. Her thorough and compassionate work with clients on the phone, listening to needs and making thoughtful referrals was so exceptional, she was named a superstar and asked to train future volunteers. She's also known to give generously to the needs of the mission, everything from supplying homeless shelter pillows to school supplies to car repairs and even a pizza dinner or two. At the Day Center, Families remember her for her sincerity and respect, and they see her as a safe person. According to her nominator, her fierce devotion to the mission of helping children and their families transform their lives is unparalleled. She improves the life of everyone she touches. I'm very happy to announce this year's winner of the Cecil DeAndres Volunteer of the Year Award for North Idaho, Mary Robinette. Congratulations, Mary.
Well, Mary, congratulations. Here's the woman with the pep in her step and a smile on her face. Wow, and she has her crown. Mary, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Mary, tell a stranger about Family Promise.
Family Promise is a unique place. We take 3 families at a time and work to transform their lives in our program, specifically geared towards children and their families. That's part of our criteria, is it's a family with children. And we have a program that up until COVID-19 was working very well with 3 families at a time. I think I said that. And I work with an amazing staff who you see around me. Lisa is the case manager, amazing. Crystal is the office manager, also amazing. And we have a fabulous director named Cindy Wood, who is the best director that a homeless shelter could possibly have, filled with compassion and heart for the homeless. We are very, very blessed with also a program coordinator named Stephanie Wood, who's home with a cold. And I want to thank them. I want to thank Cindy for nominating me, but I want to thank this tremendous staff for always backing me up.
Mary, where does this come from? Did you get this from your mom and dad?
No, it comes from my faith. Behind me, you see my priest, Father David. It comes strictly from my faith.
Can you repeat it? Well, tell me about your faith.
Well, I feel that it is our job as Christians to be the hands and feet of Christ here in Coeur d'Alene, in this instance, on earth. And in order to do that, and I feel really lucky to have Family Promise it's an opportunity to practice my faith day by day, or Wednesday by Wednesday in this case.
We have, I think, someone that we know in the room as well, and that is Amy Little from the Idaho Nonprofit Center. Amy, are you there?
You have to widen. There you are. There she is. That's Amy Little from the Idaho Nonprofit.
Absolutely, doing the honors and hopefully polishing that crown for you. Mary, congratulations. My goodness, Volunteer of the Year.
Thank you very much. I'm thrilled, and I want to encourage anyone else who's watching to every little tiny bit of volunteer work, as you can see from these other awards, makes a huge difference. So I want to encourage anybody. It's a very fulfilling thing and not hard. It's not hard to do.
Much love and congratulations again, and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Well, folks, in a year that has been so challenging and at a time when there is so much talk about what divides us, well, there is you. You connect us, you embolden us, you inspire us. To our honorees, you are wonderful. To their families, colleagues, and friends, a huge thank you as well. Stay safe, stay well, stay warm, and thank you.
Yay! Woo! Okay. That was awesome, guys.